about it. Joining us to comment on my feelings and other more cosmic issues concerning the frontrunner, including Jon Huntsman just withdrawing from the race, are Chad Connolly, the wonderful South Carolina GOP party chairman. It's been my pleasure to speak often with him in the last week or two. Bob McEwen, the former Ohio congressman and Gingrich surrogate. You've seen him earlier in the program, Representative Mario Diaz-Balart, who has already endorsed Romney, and Doug Wead, the senior advisor to Ron Paul. But Congressman Diaz-Balart, before I get to you on the Hispanic issue, I must interrupt myself and ask Bob McEwen, the former congressman, the Gingrich supporter. We have just received word from the former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, who is saying, quote, "With Governor Huntsman dropping out, we are one step closer to a bold Reagan conservative winning the GOP nomination." By that, I'm sure that Mr. Gingrich means himself. Do you want to comment on that, Mr. McEwen? And then we'll move on to my stated question to Congressman Diaz-Balart.
Well, Geraldo, just very simply, after 15 years of leadership, when Newt became the first Republican speaker in 40 years, the second in 70 years, the first thing he did was reinstitute the Reagan tax cuts, which tripled the amount coming in from capital gains, was able to balance the budget. So when you look at what Reagan stood for and what Newt Gingrich stands for, you can see that there's great momentum there. So
are you saying, though, that the Huntsman withdrawal will help Newt Gingrich more than it helps Mitt Romney?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. John was a good man, but I think that the consensus is that we need leadership. We need someone who understands how to balance a budget. That has not happened in this country, but only 4 years since Coolidge under Newt's leadership. So when it comes to the things that we stand for, moral values as well as spending and tax policy, there's no question that Newt is our candidate.
Okay, now I have many questions to ask our other guests, including Congressman Diaz-Balart, about the Huntsman withdrawal. But Congressman, I posed the question about, I am about to, about Mitt Romney's secret Latino heritage. Did you have any idea that that his parents, that his father and grandfather were born in Mexico? And don't you think that's something that would be relevant when speaking about illegal immigration, 75% of which comes from Mexico?
I actually did know about that. I've actually even heard him say it publicly. As a matter of fact,
you heard him? We have not found any speech in 2007, 2008, 2011, or 2012 until the New Hampshire primary, the day before Brian Williams' 30 Rock program was going to break the story.
I believe he's actually even said it here in Florida. I may be wrong, but I know I've heard him say that, and I actually knew that, and maybe I'm wrong as to where I knew it from, but I'm pretty sure I've heard him say it publicly. He also has a son who has done ads for him in Spanish, who has
we just played one of the ads. Congressman, don't you think that something that relevant should have, here, let me give you an example of a sentence. We have hundreds of thousands of these people coming over the border illegally. They should get on the back of the line. That's why I'm for a wall. That's why I understand the hardships over there. Indeed, my father was born there. My grandfather was born there. I have never heard him say anything remotely resembling that.
You know, look, two things. You know, you and I tend to agree more on immigration issues than most.
We sure do, and you're a whole wonderful family, I should say.
Well, and I appreciate that, and you've been friends with all of my brothers for many, many years. You've known us all. But look, so I disagree. You know, yes, clearly Governor Romney is a hardliner on border security. He is, and he's been focusing on the economy, on keeping us safe, on creating jobs, and he believes that that you have to be really tough on the border. So whether I agree with him or disagree with him, we know where he stands. Now, you know, he's never hidden that. What he's been talking about, however, are the issues that are how to create jobs, how to get this economy going, how do we get the unemployed finally working again. The American people want to work, and that's job number one. By the way, that's the first thing that the president has to do. Now, as far as the other issues, he's talked about a million issues. I knew about that issue. I've talked to him. He's mentioned it publicly. But again, the reason I'm convinced that Mitt Romney is going to be the next president of the United States is because he understands that the thing that he has to focus on is how can we get this economy to create jobs again, get the American people working again, get us competitive with our economic adversaries or competitors. That's what he's been focusing on, frankly. And yeah, so he could have done a lot of speeches about a lot of different things, and there'll be time for millions of speeches. But he's been focusing on making sure we can get this economy going, and there I think he is absolutely right.
Mexicanos, yo sabe sus problemas porque mi padre, mi abuelo son de Mexico. It's so easy. It would have been a slam dunk. Chad Conley, the wonderful South Carolina primary chairman. I only wish that you could be, your role could be expanded so we could have you for the entire election process. First of all, Jon Huntsman's withdrawal. How does that shake up what's going to happen next Saturday in the Palmetto State?
Well, hey, Geraldo, glad to be here with you tonight. I don't know how much it shakes it up. I mean, anytime one candidate gets out and endorses another, it's big news for everybody. But we're preparing for what we think is going to be the most decisive and pivotal debate in the entire primary season right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina tomorrow night. Hope everybody's watching.
They'll be watching. I mean, my goodness, Fox News, they always watch it. But some of the polls, though, 5–6%. For Huntsman, it's got to go somewhere. Was that an anti-Romney vote, or was that an ideological vote that they were going for the more moderate rather than the social conservative, and therefore they'll go to Romney?
I don't know. I think our state's a lot about connectivity and the personal relationship. And so when you see somebody that has appeal and they attract people in, they attract grassroots folks to their side, I'm not sure if that splits off to any one candidate in particular. I think it's going to be interesting. We've had a lot of ads here in South Carolina, and we ought to know by the end of the weekend where the needle moves in regard to those ads. And I'm not sure this really goes to any one candidate at all. I can't tell that yet. I just heard this news too.
Okay, Chad, hang in there. Doug Wead. What about Ron Paul? Many suggest that he doesn't have the money to go into a big place like Florida. He's going to get chopped up there by vast budgets. Romney's first and foremost. Gingrich not insubstantial. Santorum also now getting all the endorsement of the evangelicals in South Carolina. Will Ron Paul stay the course?
I think he'll stay the course. We know that the system has been built for Mitt Romney. That's part of the reason that Florida was moved up early, because of party insiders that favored Romney. And if we can survive these early contests, we're going to do well. There's 5 or 6 states. There's 5 or 6 states we think we can win. Well, we think that we will survive it early because, Geraldo, as you know, the rules have been changed. A lot of people aren't understanding how they've been changed, the proportionality. And we see Mitt Romney as an establishment figure. I mean, the #1 donor to Barack Obama is Goldman Sachs. #1 donor to Mitt Romney is Goldman Sachs. He's got all these big donors, so yeah, he's got a lot of money. In fact, you get these emails from Romney. It says, click here, donate $1. And you enter a raffle and you can fly. They'll pay your airline ticket and be with the candidate. And we call that political money laundering. He doesn't have any small donors. If you click on that button, it costs you $8. So he's willing to spend $8 to get one.
Doug Wead, I thank you. Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, thank you. Bob McEwen and Chad Conley will be talking to all you fellows as we go forward. Thanks very, very much. Coming up, ladies and gentlemen.